Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhagavati Sarva Panjomo Visavadana Pate Pandomo Visavadana Pate Yara Prasade Vai Hi Bhavaturi Ajaha Krishna Prapti Hoya Hoite Krishna Prani Hoya Hoite Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Yitete Koriya Ikya Harala Kori Omane Hasha Harala Kori Omane Hasha Guru Charade Rati Heti Uttabhagati He Prasade Pure Sarva Asha He Prasade Pure Sarva Asha Kunari Nunje Chame Chame Prabhu Se Divigani De Prokashito Prema Bhakti Jahuide Avida Vida Sadache Ine Gacha Haracharito Shinguru Karuna Sindhu Hadavajanara Patu Yogina Lokirati Pana Ha Prabhu Godadoya Deya More Padachaya Vinigani Sudri Bhana Srila Prabhupada Padita Bhavana Srila Prabhupada Padita Bhavana Srila Prabhupada Padita Bhavana Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vishnaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Devishesha Shunyavani Paschachari Shantarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki, ISKCON founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki, Jayom Vishnupad Paramahamsa Privrajak Astotara Sata Sri Srimad, His Divine Grace Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur ki, Nam Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki, Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Adaita Gadadhar Shiva Sari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki, Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shama Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan ki, Ganga Mai Yamuna Mai ki, Bhakti Devi Tulsi Maharani ki, Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki, Harinam Sankirtan Yagya ki. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Welcome to our Sunday Love Feast program. It is a privilege and honor to see each and every one of you present today. So devotees, just a reminder to switch off your cell phones or to put them on silent. So our topic for today is aligning actions with beliefs with His Grace Ramvijay Das. Ramvijay Das is a disciple of His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami. He is a resident of Durban. Ramvijay Das served as a co-president of the Sri Sri Radharanath Temple in Chatsworth. He still serves currently in his managerial capacity at the temple. He is actively involved in preaching and conducts various seminars and courses. He holds a master's in public administration and works full-time in an IT field. He serves as a good example of how to balance his material obligations with his spiritual life. So, devotees, I hand over to you, Ramvijay Das. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Welcome to our Sunday Love Feast program. It's wonderful to see all of you here. So we'll just chant some bhajan and then we can start. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Janavalabha Girivardhari. Gopi Janavalabha Girivardhari. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Shri Radha Radhanath ki, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Gaur Premanande. Thank you all for coming once again to our Sunday program. We've had a lot of festivities over the last few days, and it's wonderful to see all of you having enough energy to drag yourselves back to the temple. It's been exhausting, I'm sure, for everyone, but enlivening also and encouraging. So today we'll read a little bit from Srimad Bhagavatam. Narayanang namaskritya naranchaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudirayet shunvatam swakata krishna punya shravana kirtana ridantosto hi bhadrani vidunoti suritsatam nasta praeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama sloke bhaktir bhavati naistiki. So today we'll read from Srimad Bhagavatam. It's the 4th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 20, describing Prithu Maharaj, and we read from text 16. So just to give a little context to this verse, Prithu Maharaj, who, if you're not familiar, Prithu Maharaj is a very great ruler of the planet. He's actually a Shaktivesh avatar. He's an incarnation of the Lord. He was basically a very ideal king. Srila Prabhupada described him as the ruling force of the Lord. He was empowered with the Lord's power to rule. So he was very ideal as a king, and he'd done many wonderful activities in this part of Srimad Bhagavatam. And at this point, one of the very major important things kings previously used to be to perform 100 horse sacrifices. That's what Indra did to achieve his post. However, Prithu Maharaj had performed 99, and Indra, being worried about his position, kind of sabotaged the 100th sacrifice. And then Prithu Maharaj, at this point in the Bhagavatam, he's performing his sacrifice, and we see that the Lord is so pleased with him and his sacrifice and his activities that the Lord personally appears in the sacrifice. And in this text we are reading about how the Lord is addressing him after appearing at his sacrifice. The Lord glorifies him, glorifies his wonderful activities, and in this text he's going to glorify him further. So I'll just read the Sanskrit first. Varam chamat kanchana manavendra vrinishvateham gunashila yantrita naham makevai sulabhastato tapobhir yogena vayat samachittavarti. So the translation: My dear king, I am very captivated by your elevated qualities and excellent behavior, and thus I am very favorably inclined toward you. You may therefore ask from me any benediction you like. One who does not possess elevated qualities and behavior cannot possibly achieve my favor simply by performance of sacrifices, severe austerities, or mystic yoga. But I always remain equipoised in the heart of one who is also equipoised in all circumstances. The purport by Srila Prabhupada. Lord Vishnu was very pleased with Maharaj Prithu's good character and behavior and offered him a benediction. The Lord openly says that performing great sacrifices or undergoing the austerities of mystic yoga practice cannot satisfy him. He is pleased only by elevated character and behavior. But these cannot develop unless one becomes a pure devotee of the Lord. Anyone who has developed unalloyed, unflinching devotional service unto the Lord develops his original good qualities as spirit soul. The spirit soul, as part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, has all the good qualities of the Lord. When the spirit soul is contaminated by material modes of nature, one is considered good or bad with reference to material qualities. But when one is transcendental to all material qualities, all the good qualities come out. These qualities of a devotee, 26 in number, are listed as follows. 1. Kind to everyone. 2. Does not quarrel with anyone. 3. Fixed in the absolute truth. 4. Equal to everyone. 5. Faultless. 6. Charitable. 7. Mild. 8. Clean. 9. Simple. 10. Benevolent. 11. Peaceful. 12. Completely attached to Krishna. 13. Has no material hankering. 14. Meek. 15. Steady. 16. Self-controlled. 17. Does not eat more than required. 18. Sane. 19. Respectful. 20. Humble. 21. Grave. 22. Compassionate. 23. Friendly. 24. Poetic. 25. Expert. And 26. Silent. The Lord is satisfied by development of the transcendental qualities of the living entity and not by artificial performance of sacrifices and mystic yoga. In other words, unless one is fully qualified to become a pure devotee of the Lord, one cannot expect to be liberated from material entanglement. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Munmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahayam Tadati Swapanantikam. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gorangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Garadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So I'll just read the translation once again. My dear King, I am very captivated by your elevated qualities and excellent behavior, and thus I am very favorably inclined toward you. You may therefore ask from me any benediction you like. One who does not possess elevated qualities and behavior cannot possibly achieve my favor simply by performance of sacrifices, severe austerities, or mystic yoga. But I always remain equipoised in the heart of one who is also equipoised in all circumstances. So we see the Lord very openly glorifying Prithu Maharaj in this verse. He's not holding back. He's, through this whole series of verses, he's glorifying Prithu Maharaj. Imagine, just to be glorified by anyone feels, it's such an impact on us. Imagine the Lord glorifying. This is what Prithu Maharaj's situation was, that the Lord was glorifying him directly. He is also an incarnation of the Lord, the Shaktivesh avatar, as we mentioned already. So, this verse, it shows that the qualities we have matter to the Lord. It matters, but of course, most importantly, it matters to the Lord. And the Lord is making it clear here that He's attracted by these qualities. So these qualities in the behavior of Prithu Maharaj attracted the Lord. So it's nice to know that how we behave and how we act and our character actually has an impact on the Lord. And we notice even among ourselves, if someone has a really wonderful personality, we are attracted to them, right? If you see someone who's amazingly wonderful, sweet, kind, we feel attracted to them. That's how we feel attracted. So the Lord also, being a person, he feels attracted by wonderful qualities. And Srila Prabhupada, in that purport, he describes those 26 qualities. And we'll go through, I'm hoping we have time to just take a few minutes to reflect on those qualities. So, in the conditioned state, of course, we are all conditioned souls, and we are not pure devotees. Even though we may be aspiring devotees, in the conditioned state, we all have so many qualities and so many characteristics, but these are not pure. And it's our nature or our qualities, although we all pure spirit souls originally, our nature is coming out through layers of material conditioning, impact, and the influence of the modes of nature. So although we are pure spirit soul, we are covered by so many layers of material conditioning, the modes of nature, and what we see in one another, or the personalities we see, is what's coming out through that conditioning and through that those coverings that being situated in material nature. So we don't see the real pure personality. And the process of Krishna consciousness is actually to peel back those layers so that we shine through in our original form. And Srila Prabhupada makes that point in the purport. He says that these qualities automatically manifest in a pure devotee. They automatically manifest, they actually are the decoration of the pure devotee. The qualities that will come out once someone is a pure devotee, it means all his contamination becomes cleared away, all the conditioning is cleared away, the impacts and the effects of the modes of nature are cleared away. So what you see is the pure spirit soul. And the pure spirit soul, all of us are pure spirit souls. We have these wonderful qualities, and these qualities attract the Lord. And that's what Srila Prabhupada says. The essence of everything is that if we become pure devotees, we can attract the Lord. So that's why the process of Krishna consciousness is attracting the Lord, because when we become pure, we develop these qualities which attract the Lord also. So therefore, in Krishna consciousness, everything is encompassed. But why did I want to talk about these qualities today specifically? Because as you can see from what Prabhupada said, it's not like we have to go about trying to individually develop each quality. There's 26 qualities Prabhupada mentioned. So it's not like we say, today I'm going to focus on this one quality, and that's going to be the focus of my life today. Let's try and be silent. That's the 26th quality mentioned here. Let's do that, and another day let's do that, and another day let's do that. What Prabhupada is saying is that by becoming pure devotees, we would automatically develop these. So why talk about these qualities? There are a few reasons I thought it's important to talk about it. One is for ourselves to know what qualities should be manifesting in our hearts as we progress in spiritual life. We should see these qualities automatically manifest in our hearts, ourselves, and also to appreciate when we see these qualities in others, to appreciate how nicely they are advancing and progressing in spiritual life. Also, it's quite easy in anything we do, and also in our spiritual life, to do things mechanically. Like we all know, chanting Hare Krishna is something we're supposed to invest our consciousness and our hearts in. But how often we find ourselves not doing that, right? We're chanting Hare Krishna. So similarly, we can act in Krishna consciousness, not very unconsciously. We can do things very ritualistically, not really investing our consciousness in it. We can do all kinds of activities, offering flowers to Prabhupada in Guru Puja, offering Aarti. Definitely beneficial. Chanting Hare Krishna, even if we chant without investing our consciousness, is beneficial. So all these devotional activities are very beneficial, but it's very easy to do it without investing consciousness. But it's much more beneficial if we can invest our consciousness, invest our attention in these things, and that's how we become more effective in our practice of Krishna consciousness. So it's very easy when practicing and engaging in any spiritual activities that sometimes other qualities come out while in the engagement of devotional service, and we get so used to those things being there, we think this is part of devotional service. right? So we all know that our false egos, for example, they're always there. It's there. There's very few living beings who are free from false ego. So false ego is always there. And even when we practice spiritual life, our false ego is always coming out, and we'll see it in so many ways. It's manifest in the things we do. And our propensity to control things, our propensities for being selfish and wanting to extract maximum enjoyment out of things. We see all these things come out even in the practice of spiritual life. So it's important to always be conscious of the attitude in which we serve. So one thing is to always do the right things, like engage in devotional service, chant Hare Krishna, engage in devotional service, associate with devotees, take association of devotees. That's all very important for us, because those are the activities which purify us. But even while engaging in these activities, we have to be cautious of what we present. Now, we don't want to kind of feel that if I'm a certain way, I'm naturally this way. Naturally means in our conditioned state as we are naturally a certain way. Some of us may be very passionate, some of us may be very aggressive, some of us may be very calm. We all have different qualities. We all conditioned, and all these things come out. And it's not that we must pretend to not be like that. We are what we are in our current state. We are definitely like that. But there is still room that when we engage in devotional service, for us to control and manage these propensities so that we can engage in devotional service better. So there is still room to do that. It's not that we have to be artificial and not be who we are, but at the same time, we can't reveal ourselves fully, right? I'm sure all of us, in any situation, whether we're at work or whether we're at home or whether we're at the temple or whether we're going shopping, we don't just reveal ourselves fully, right? If you're at work, you carry yourself a certain way. You don't just say everything you think, right? If your boss is telling you something, you just say what you think. You try to control it and manage it so it works in that situation. And similarly, at home, you don't just act the way you want, and even when you're out in public, you just act the way you want. You always try to manage things for the best result in that situation. So similarly, even when we engage in devotional service and in devotional life, and we engage with devotees, there are certain things that will help us be more effective. Let's assume I'm a very rowdy person, I'm a very aggressive person, and I get very angry extremely quickly. As soon as someone disagrees with me, I fly off the handle. Let's assume I'm like that. So now, that's the way I am. And I come to you, and you say something to me at the temple, and I fly off the handle with you. How will you feel about me, right? And you naturally won't feel compassionate towards me because I flew off the handle with you. Our relationship will get strained. So now, by me being the way I am, it kind of limited the mercy I could get from you, right? So therefore, there's a need to check ourselves in situations and to behave in a way that allows us to receive more mercy. So even though we have these, we can call it natural propensities. They're not really our natural propensities. They are our conditioned propensities. Whatever propensities we have in the conditioned states, it's our nature after being conditioned, the way we are. Whatever propensities we have to check them to whatever degree, even in devotional life, so that we can properly serve, we can properly act, we can properly practice things to act in a good way, so that we can benefit more from the process of Krishna consciousness. So Krishna consciousness will act no matter how bad or good we are. It'll act on all of us. But in order to extract more mercy from the process, to associate with the devotees and please the Lord, we can check some of our natural tendencies. So the Lord says in this verse, actually, there's no other way to achieve the Lord's favor. He's saying that even austerities, sacrifices, all don't please him as much as Prithu Maharaj's wonderful character and qualities. So this is how powerful having qualities that we develop will please the Lord and attract the Lord. And even though we can't imitate these qualities necessarily, but practicing them, associating with people who have them, will help us develop these qualities. It'll help rub off on us. So the thing is, with the way we behave, it's influenced by many things. Our conditioning, we said, it's impacted by our values, our beliefs. It's impacted by so many things, our circumstances that we find ourselves in, the impact of the modes of nature. So different people in the same situation will react differently, because we have these different belief systems, different values, different experiences that make us the way we are, and we develop different attitudes based on this. So ideally, or if it was not so complex, your beliefs would influence your behavior. Ideally, in a very clinical kind of world, our beliefs would, in a very simplistic way, what we believe should impact how we behave. But we all know that's not necessarily true, right? A very easy example is to take, like if you're trying to watch what you eat, and you know that you must cut down on carbs or sugars or something, and you see that second slice of cake there, you would still just go for it sometimes. Now you know it's good for you, you understand everything, but still you would just do it sometimes, or sometimes you may be able to resist it. So you believe, you understand, but sometimes you're not strong enough to resist that temptation, right? So we all have these various attachments, various things that attract us and pull us in different ways. So our beliefs, sometimes if they're not strong enough, we can be swayed from them. So the process of Krishna consciousness is firstly, when we come to Krishna consciousness, we are looking to adopt the belief system of what Srila Prabhupada gave us. Krishna consciousness is a whole new belief system and a whole new value system. Ours may be aligned to some degree, but when we come to Krishna consciousness, we are inspired by so many things. Shri Radha Radhanath ki, Shri Giriraj Govardhan ki, Shri Gauranga Mahaprabhu ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. So when we come to Krishna consciousness, it's not that we are automatically knew everything when we came here. When we came to Krishna consciousness, we had certain ideas. When we come to Krishna consciousness, other ideas are presented to us, and we may think, oh, this sounds good. So at least theoretically, we'd like to start accepting it and adopting those principles. But the fact that we theoretically adopted them or agree with them doesn't mean that we are able to practice and live up to it, right? Or live like that. There's a long process, and the process of Krishna consciousness helps us, firstly, to understand those principles and those values and those practices. Then after understanding it, then make it more deeply seated in our heart, so that we actually feel and we believe it. It becomes our belief system, and our system aligns. What we think and what Krishna consciousness gives aligns. When our system aligns purely and perfectly with Krishna's, then we could call ourselves like a proper devotee, because we believe what Krishna wants us to believe, actually, what Krishna says. But generally it's not like that. We believe some things, we can't accept other things. And some things we can accept deeply and other things we can't. For example, we are conditioned, in our conditioned state, we may believe that we should enjoy life and be happy. And by getting money or getting power, we could become happy. We may believe that. And frankly, most people are brought up like that, right? That's how the world brings us up, thinking that you must enjoy life, you get money, you get power, you get education, and then you can really extract the maximum amount of enjoyment. So that's how we live, that's how we are brought up, and our egos and everything around us acts in that way. So when we come to Krishna consciousness, we learn otherwise. We learn automatically, hey, you know what? This is actually not such a grand thing. Actually, we are servants of Krishna. We are not the center of the universe, and we should be serving Krishna, and we should be acting in a way to develop our relationship with Krishna. But even though we understand that, even though we accept that, our false ego doesn't just go away automatically, immediately. It will take a lot of time. It takes sometimes a whole lifetime or many lifetimes to go away, depending on how we practice Krishna consciousness. So our belief is there. We believe that Krishna is God. We accept that we are servants of Krishna. But when you look at us in real life, in what we do, that may not come out so well, right? So you may see devotees do all kinds of funny things. You may say, they are devotees, how can they act like that? Right? Yes, he's a devotee. He's accepted the process of Krishna consciousness. But by us accepting the process of Krishna consciousness, it means we've started on a journey. That journey could be a very long journey. Some of us may be quite far along on the journey. Some of us may be right at the beginning of the journey. So our habits, our propensities come out all the time. Like one way I notice my own propensities, well, I'm sure it may apply to everyone else, a lot of people, is that I get so upset when somebody cuts in front of me in the car. When you're driving on the road and someone just slices in front of you, it's like, how can this person do that? It's like so much of anger you get. And then you think, why am I angry? What am I angry about? You can't figure it out, but somehow you end up feeling like that. And you'll notice different experiences that make you angry, that make you upset. They show how your false ego is there. They show how your propensity to enjoy is there. Because why would you get angry? Why does someone get angry? You know what Sri Prabhupada says? What anger is? Prabhupada says, anger is unsatisfied lust. Right? When you get angry, it's because you desire something that you can't get. Right? Now, we know that Krishna wanted Arjun to be angry. But Krishna wanted Arjun to be angry for his sake in fighting the war. So that's the difference. In spiritual anger, you may get angry for the Lord's sake, like Arjun did. But in our situation, we get angry for our sakes. Oh, how can he talk to me like that? Who does he think he is? Does he not know who I am? Like, if any of you have had these thoughts, we'll know that that's our false egos. That's not a pure devotee speaking. Because a pure devotee does not think like that. Those thoughts won't enter. But you will see in your own heart, in your own mind, these thoughts may enter. Someone insults you. You feel so hurt. Who does he think he is? Then if he insults you in front of other people, it's worse. Because now everyone else thinks that of you. And now you get even more depressed about it or angry about it. So these are all the symptoms that we have a long way to go. So even though we've accepted the process of Krishna consciousness, we're trying to practice it, these propensities will still be with us. And the way that these propensities will go away is by becoming purified, becoming free from our conditioning by the practice of Krishna consciousness, and that's how it goes away. But still, we should try to check propensities that we have. We still have these innate propensities because they're very deeply rooted in our hearts. So we should try to check them to the best of our ability. So we should do two things from this. One is be very observant about our own natures, and it'll give us a very good clue about how far we still have to go in the process of Krishna consciousness. You'll see your ego come up, you'll see lust come up, you'll see a desire to enjoy come up. Even though so many good qualities may be there also, you see that you're more attached to Krishna, that you're more determined to practice Krishna consciousness. Those things are there, but side by side, these other things will remain for some time, and we have to learn how to deal with them. And also, it should help us understand and tolerate when we see it in others. We shouldn't get so worked up. When we see these things, we have to understand what they're dealing with. Just like how we are dealing with all our difficulties and bad qualities, others are also doing it. And when theirs comes out, don't react badly, because you understand that they are going through something, just like how we are going through something. And just like how they may tolerate us when we have our bad qualities, we have to tolerate them also, because we all are in the same boat to whatever degree. We are all battling with those same propensities, and we should work on it together. So we should firstly be tolerant, and then we should be observant, at least to ourselves. Like it's generally very much easier to see the bad qualities in others, right? It's generally, that's how it is. That's how we are, because our egos acts like that. We want to show that we are better, so it's easier to see his bad quality and not my own. But it's nicer to become more observant of our own problems and anarthas and conditioning. And even if we see a quality in someone else, it should help us just realize how distasteful that quality is, so we don't practice it. So we become more determined to mitigate that and get over that propensity ourselves that we may have. But also just to tolerate it when we see it, because we know everyone's going through something, and everyone's on the same journey. So that's a very important thing for us to try to work through. And in Krishna consciousness, we notice sometimes our misalignment with our belief system and how we act may become a bit greater. Because when we come to Krishna consciousness, we had a certain belief system. Generally, before we come to spiritual practices, we believe that our system is the best, right? We believe that our belief system is the best. We got it figured out. The rest of the world doesn't know how things, and we know best, right? When we come to Krishna consciousness, fine, we may understand that, maybe I didn't have it figured out. There's more to than what I understood. Okay, so I'll accept that. I'll start accepting it, and I'll try to adopt it. So that's what we are doing now. We are trying to adopt and accept. Now the misalignment is it can be a bit more of an upheaval for us, because we're acting in one way, we have our own belief system, we have our own conditioning and desires, and then we come to Krishna consciousness, our belief system is being adjusted, our values are being adjusted. It's being adjusted correctly, because it's like misaligned. The alignment is being corrected, but we may still be acting in different ways, so the adjustment can become bigger. We may sometimes feel guilt, that we can't act the way we should be. Some people feel guilty. You know what, I'm supposed to be, as a devotee, I'm supposed to be like this. I see other devotees, they are like this, but I can't do it, and you may feel guilty. So you go through all those kinds of emotions. Therefore, it's important that we take association, that we take mentorship, we take guidance from others, because they help us go through this. So just like with any improvement process, whether you are trying to exercise and get fit, or whether you're trying to lose 5 kilograms, or whether you're trying to improve in your career, whatever you try to do, generally when you try to make a positive change, so-called positive change, there is a little bit of upheaval. You can't just do things the way you are doing it. So similarly, when you try to practice spiritual life, also there will be some upheaval. There will be some change required. And Krishna consciousness is such a deep process that it pulls out all these anarthas from our heart. Because before we came to Krishna consciousness, we didn't even know that. We thought we are perfect, right? We thought we are perfect. There's nothing for us to improve on, so we got it under control. When we come to Krishna consciousness, we realize we're not so perfect. And then we have to start working on ourselves. And although we don't independently try to work on each thing, by the process of Krishna consciousness, we generally work on ourselves. And of course, sometimes if we notice some very stubborn tendencies, we might have to, specifically tackle those problem areas so that we don't, it doesn't inhibit our progress. Because some of us, we could have some 1 or 2 negative qualities that really, hamper us. So, therefore, it's important to be very conscious, firstly, of what's going on in our own hearts, and also through guidance and mentorship, get some advice from others about how we are doing and help them guide us further. Because it's hard when we are conditioned to know what's wrong. When you're sick, it's very hard to fix yourself. You need a doctor to diagnose you, someone who's a little more expert, someone who's looking from outside you, who can give you a good view of yourself. Look in the mirror. So sometimes when we are in Krishna consciousness, to travel the journey on our own without a nice mirror, someone to reflect on, it can be a little difficult. So we should try to take that mentorship, take that guidance, and in taking that guidance, it's not also just a mechanical process. I take guidance. Oh, I asked you, Prabhu, you must tell me. No, Krishna consciousness is a little deeper than that. Because you are more advanced than me, I ask you, you will tell me. Not necessarily. Because it works on the process of a connection of heart also. So just like, it's not like a teacher may teach you in school. Here, this is the formula you must learn, and you must understand this theorem, and therefore you will get tested on this and you pass the exam. No. For someone to want to help you, they must like you, right? Would you help anyone you don't like? Someone who irritates you, they say, please help me, you'll say no, right? When you like someone, you'll go out of your way to help them. That's just how we all are wired, you could say. So similarly, if you want to get the mercy of a devotee, you should please them. You should try and please them. Therefore, to get the mercy of the Lord, we try to please the Lord. To get the mercy of the spiritual master, we please the spiritual master. And we do those activities which please them. And even your mentors or your Shiksha Guru, your Diksha Guru, you should try to please them so that they'll open their hearts to you. They'll feel appreciative of you, and they'll feel obliged to you, and they'll want to help you. And when they want to help you, then they'll give you so much more than what you could have tried yourself. They'll give you so much of understanding, they'll give you so much of realization, they'll give you so much of strength that you can really do much better than you could otherwise on your own. So that's the principle of how we try to act in such a way so that we can get more mercy. So therefore, especially when we are in the association of devotees, we should try to be as pleasant as we can, for a few reasons. One is so that we can get their mercy. That's one. But also to create the proper spiritual atmosphere. Like, because I may have a short temper and I get angry at everyone, when I come to the temple, I can't just be shouting at everyone. It just won't work in this temple environment. It'll disturb everyone else also. In the temple, we want a nice spiritual atmosphere, an atmosphere of humility, of submission, of control, self-control. We need those kinds of things. So we need to act in those ways, and that way we'll please the other devotees, we'll help to the overall atmosphere, and then we can take that with us when we go from here also. So I just wanted to quickly touch on some of the qualities that Srila Prabhupada mentioned. I don't think we'll have time to go through all 26, but just to reflect a little bit on it, because ideally if we happen to be pure devotees, these characteristics would be in us automatically. So it's so nice to just reflect on these qualities a little, just so that we can see how far away we are, but also by reflecting on it, it just helps us know what to aspire for, and also know what we'd like to achieve, and how nice it will be to in that state. So the first quality that Srila Prabhupada has mentioned in this purport, he says the devotee is very kind to everyone. And we see, firstly, the Lord is very kind to everyone. We hear that all the time. The Lord is very kind to everyone. But remember, the Lord's kindness comes out in all kinds of ways, right? The law of karma is the Lord's kindness, right? When He gives you good karma, bad karma. When He purifies us, He gives us opportunity to approach Him. That's His kindness. And Srila Prabhupada also says that the great souls, they're also kind to everyone. How are they kind? They're kind to everyone. They want everyone to come out of suffering. They want everyone to be Krishna consciousness. That's the essence of how a great soul is, kind to everyone. So the more we develop that quality of kindness to everyone, the essential way will be kind. Yes, you can be kind in many ways, but the main way is to share Krishna consciousness. Give them opportunity to become Krishna conscious. That's how you can show kindness to someone. So even if you don't know someone very well, you don't necessarily like them or dislike them, you can give them an opportunity to become Krishna conscious, to give them something to help them Krishna conscious, become more Krishna conscious. That's being kind to them. That's one way we can be very, very kind to someone for the eternal benefit. And then the second quality Srila Prabhupada mentions here is he doesn't quarrel with anyone. A devotee doesn't quarrel with anyone. That's a tough one, right? Don't quarrel with anyone. How is this possible? It's practically impossible unless you're a pure devotee. Unless you're in Krishna consciousness, you can't not quarrel. Because while you're not a pure devotee, you have your desires. You got your desires, I got my desires. Yours conflicts with mine, we will quarrel. Right? Even if we don't get to a fist fight, we'll argue. Even if we don't argue, we'll think badly about one another. Something will be there. So you can't. Unless you're a pure devotee, you cannot not quarrel. So the more you see propensity to quarrel, you must know we are not there yet. The third quality Prabhupada mentions is fixed in the absolute truth. And elsewhere, because it's hard to know what that is actually in detail. So Prabhupada, elsewhere when he describes this quality, he says, he accepts Krishna consciousness as the highest goal. So, that applies to most of us, right? We do accept Krishna consciousness as the highest goal. Most of us do. That's why we are here. We know that Krishna consciousness is the highest goal. But to the extent, the depth that we accept it. Some of us may just know it theoretically. So we say, yes, it is the highest goal. But the way we live our lives is not like that. If you look at where your energy is put, it's not to be Krishna conscious. So although we know it, we don't live it. Right? And then you'll see others who they're living it. Day in, day out, they are trying to be Krishna conscious. So that's them feeling like that. But they're at a much more advanced level than we may be. The fourth quality Prabhupada says is equal to everyone. He's equal to everyone. So devotee should be equal to everyone. He doesn't have friends and enemies. He's equal. Sees everyone as Krishna's children. You'll notice a lot of these qualities in one way or the other relate to selfishness or selflessness. So generally, so long as we have selfish desires, a lot of the opposite of these qualities will come out, right? And if we don't have these selfish motivations or selfish desires which are not aligned to Krishna, if we don't have those desires, then it'll be easier to develop some of these qualities. But so long as we got our own objectives, basically so long as we are not aligned with Krishna, we got our own ideas of what we want to do and what will make us happy in this world, we will have a lot of these things come up. So this alignment with Krishna is the essential thing. That's what we are trying to do, align with Krishna. The fifth quality Prabhupada mentions is faultlessness. No one can find fault in his character, right? Now, that's very hard. But we hear how the Goswamis are described, that even the ruffians and the saintly love them. No one would find fault, because that's how elevated they were. When a devotee is so pure, no one will find fault. Even someone who's got a bad quality, who's by nature very, very rough, he won't find fault in a pure devotee. So this is what it is, and that's very tough. When someone finds fault with us, we like to think the problem is with them. That's why they're seeing the fault, right? So if someone says, you are like this, you say, no, this must be your problem, right? But the pure devotee is such that no one can find a fault. That's what a pure devotee is. It's hard to find a fault. Whether you're pure or not, no one else can find. And then the sixth one, he's charitable. He's giving Krishna consciousness to everyone else. He's magnanimous. Prabhupada also calls him magnanimous. And it's not that he just gives all his money away. He won't mind. He's not attached, but he's giving something very valuable to everyone. The most valuable thing is giving Krishna consciousness. Again, not self-centered. And then the seventh one is mild. The devotee is mild. It's such a wonderful quality to have a mild. And you look at advanced devotees, you'll see they're always very mild. They're not rough. They're not pushy. They're very mild. And they're very sensitive. They're mild. And that's how they come across. It doesn't mean the spiritual master won't chastise you. When he's doing that service, he may blast you. That's fine. But the devotees, by nature, they're mild. And then, so now remember this mildness, right? It's a very important quality to try and cultivate also. And 8 is clean. And Prabhupada further elaborates, clean internally and externally. So keep the body clean, keep the mind and heart clean. How do we keep the mind and heart clean? Chanting Hare Krishna, engaging in the Lord's service. That's how we keep our consciousness clean. And we cleanse our consciousness. And the body, bathing. And then he's simple. The devotee is simple. It doesn't mean he's not intelligent. It means he's simple. Prabhupada elaborates, he does not profess to possess anything in this material world. So if we don't think that we own anything in this world, we can be simple. And opposite of simplicity is when we feel we have so much of material facility, so much of prestige, so much of power, then naturally we won't be simple. We have so much of intelligence, we can't be simple. But when you feel you don't possess any of these material things, you can be simple. It's very, very wonderful quality. Once His Holiness Gaur Govinda Swami was asked by one devotee in Johannesburg many, many years ago, and the devotee said, how do you advance in spiritual life? And Maharaj said, be simple. That was his 2-word answer. Be simple. Simplicity is such an important quality. You'll notice that the more advanced we become materially, the more urbanized we become, we lose these qualities of simplicity. If you go to a rural area, or if you know people in rural area, or if you remember people from 50 years ago, you'll see they were naturally much more simple, less complicated. Things were easy for them. They had a very simple life. They didn't have too many desires. They lived very simply. You'll notice as we progress in Kali Yuga, as we're getting more sophisticated, that simplicity is becoming very more far away, far-fetched for us, because we are brought up in this unusual kind of environment. But simplicity is a very important quality for a devotee. And then benevolent. He's a benefactor to all living beings. Again, he's the well-wisher. I mean, generally, when we're conditioned, we wish ourselves well. Or we wish our extended selves well. Our extended selves could be our family, wife, children. We're very concerned about them. Or sometimes it's extended to our nation. We want all the South Africans to do well. Or our political party must do well. Or whatever grouping we identify with. But that's our selfish identification. The devotee is a benefactor for all living entities. So even if you are a member of the DA, you wish that the ANC does well. Right? So you're a benefactor for every living being. You want everyone to do well. But the main way a devotee wants people to do well is to become Krishna conscious. Not that he wants the other party to win the election. He wants to become Krishna conscious. That's what the devotee wants. Because that way he knows that person will be happiest. Now the thing is, we believe to some extent that by being Krishna conscious we'll be happy. If we look at our activities, if we are doing a lot of other things besides trying to be Krishna conscious, it means we believe other things will make us happy. There's no question about it. If I spend all my energy trying to earn money, it means I believe money will make me happy. If I spend all my energy trying to get an education, I believe that getting an education will make me happy. If I spend all my energy advancing in my career, it means I believe that advancing in career will make me happy. But if I put my energy in Krishna conscious, no matter what else I'm doing, also, it means that I believe that this is for my best benefit. So we will put our energy where we believe we'll get the best that we want. So the matter in Krishna consciousness is to increase our belief that Krishna consciousness is the best thing for us. The 11th quality is the devotee is peaceful. It's natural the devotee is peaceful. Why? He has no material hankerings. He doesn't desire anything for himself. He's satisfied. He's got his connection with Krishna. What more could he want? He's internally satisfied. He doesn't desire anything from you. He doesn't want anything from you. When he talks to you, he's not trying to become your friend for some other reason. He only wants to give you Krishna consciousness. So the devotee is peaceful naturally. And of course, number 12 is obvious. He's completely attached to Krishna. That's why everything else is possible. He's a soul completely surrendered to Krishna. This is the essential thing. If we can become completely attached to Krishna, then everything else goes away. All the other bad qualities disappear, because being attached to Krishna will become pure just by being attached to Krishna. The same attachment we have to everything else and everyone else, if we have it for Krishna, everything is fixed. That's the essence, and that's what becoming a pure devotee is that Prabhupada's talking about. He has no material hankering. We've talked about that. He has no material desire to fulfill. And number 14, he is meek. He is humble. How come a devotee is able to be humble? Why do you all think a devotee can be humble? Any ideas? How is it that a devotee is humble? Yes. He realizes his insignificance. See, when we don't know Krishna, we think we are great, right? We think we can do so many things. We are these big deals. When you get to know Krishna, how great he is, you get to realize how small we are. Has anyone stood near a big mountain? I know I drove to Cape Town once and we were driving past these huge mountains. I really felt quite insignificant there. You know, when you drive past a huge mountain, you think, oh my God, what am I? I'm nothing. And also if you fly in an aeroplane, you look down and you think, God, all these people are going on with their lives there, all their desires, and they think that they are the center of the world. But from up in the clouds, it looks like nothing, you know. We make a big deal of these lives. So imagine if you get to know Krishna, how great Krishna is. You feel nothing. It's not that you feel that you really understand how great Krishna is, and then you realize how insignificant you are in comparison and in relation to Krishna. So that's why it's natural to become humble. A devotee naturally becomes humble because he understands Krishna's greatness. He doesn't have to try to become humble. Although it's also good to try to be humble. There's no harm. And the devotee is always steady. The devotee is steady in spiritual life because he's not fickle, because he's not affected by the modes of nature. The modes of nature, our conditioning attacks us, anger, greed, lust attack us, our senses, desires attack us, so we naturally do various things according to it. But a devotee is steady because his attachment is to Krishna. Krishna's attachment is spiritual, and he's steady. No matter what comes, he's unwaved by that. He's unshaken by those things. And then, of course, he's self-controlled. The devotee is self-controlled. He's conquered his sensual activities, Prabhupada says. He's conquered the sensual activities. Very important thing. That's why we take prasad, we try to conquer the tongue. We all know how voracious our tongue can be. By what we speak and what we like to eat, our tongue is very damaging. It can be very damaging. It's amazing. Words are so powerful. They can hurt somebody more than arrows piercing the heart. And sometimes we are not conscious of what we say. I know I've got this big problem. I say things and I don't realize how it affects the next person sometimes. I didn't necessarily mean it that way, but you're not sensitive enough to understand how they're taking it. And they hurt someone very badly. So we have to be very sensitive and self-controlled. And a big one, do not eat more than required. That's the thing for devotees. Do not eat more than required. And Prabhupada elaborates, to maintain the body and soul together. And then 18 is very interesting. Prabhupada says sane. A devotee is sane. Why? Because someone who's not a pure devotee is insane. Right? And Prabhupada elaborates, he's never mad after material activity. So the devotee is never mad after material activity So therefore he is considered sane. That is so there's a few more, but please read it up in your time. I think we'll stop there and maybe take any questions, comments, any thoughts you may have, any reflections you may have. I'm hoping that we would just reflect on these qualities, understand how we are supposed to be, how we are aspiring to become, recognize it in others, and then recognize the impurities in ourselves so that we can be a little more diligent in our own behaviors in everything we do, whether we're at the temple, at home, wherever we may be, so that we can try a little harder. Thank you very much for your attention and attendance. Srila Prabhupada ki.
Thank you, Ramvijay Prabhu, for that warm and enlightening class. Devotees, we have a few announcements. Okay. All right.
Okay. I'm a bit nervous with Srila Krishna Prabhu. I hope you got a comment rather than a question.
Now, I want to compliment you on the topic, because we go along in Krishna consciousness and take it for granted, although we're trying to cultivate humility. You know, they say, if you want to lose friends, you've got to tell them what's good for them.
Yes.
So sometimes you see how the interactions are when devotees are being corrected by others and so on. They don't like it. And Kali Yuga, the symptom is arrogance. So we tend to still bring that conditioning into a spiritual life, although we want to think we're advancing. But you know, it's the minute you're corrected or something, then you see the real nature. So I would suggest that perhaps we take these 26 qualities and write them one below the other, and put in an Excel sheet, maybe put 20 columns, and then every day tick off which one you think we're improving on, and see where we are after maybe so many years. Because it's a very good reminder. I really, really like this topic. When we first came in, it's part of the Vaishnava etiquette course, the 26 qualities. And to reflect back on that. Like, for example, if you tell somebody to turn their mobile phone off, they won't do it also, right? So it happens like regularly in the class, so something like that, and people get offended. But yeah, it's a good point for self-reflection, and thank you very much for raising it here. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Srila Krishna Prabhu. Paramatma Prabhu has a question.
Krishna Prabhu, thank you for class. I've got a question. How do we respond if we're in a life-threatening situation, or if you're a policeman or a Kshatriya? Because you said you must be peaceful and kind. So how will you respond in a situation like that? Thank you.
Yes, so I think we got a wonderful example in Arjun on the battlefield. And we know from Bhagavad Gita how Arjun felt that just renouncing everything and leaving the battlefield instead of killing his relatives was the better course of action, and how Krishna corrected him. That we definitely have duties we have to perform, and Krishna makes it very clear that we advance in spiritual life by performing those duties. So if you're in a life-threatening situation and the thief is in your house, you don't say, Hare Krishna, please take all my goods, I'm not attached to it. You have to protect your family, you have to protect your goods, because he's attacking, there's danger. You have to do the needful to protect yourself. But remember, in doing all these things, it's not that we're doing it out of attachment. We're doing it out of the duty to take the right course of action. So the consciousness in which we do all our duties is important. So if you are just attached that I can protect my family, therefore I'll fight till my death, you're not able to protect your family actually. You are nobody to be able to do that. But you know that you have to do it. You got children in the house, your wife is there, you have to do what you can to protect or take them to safety. You have to do those things. But leaving the result up to Krishna, because ultimately it's not in your hands. So we have to do those duties. Even if you're at work, one employee is misbehaving and not doing his work, you can't just say Hare Krishna and let him go. You have to make sure he does his job. It's your job to ensure he does his work. So you have to do those duties. But obviously not be attached to the results and leave everything in the hands of Krishna. That's what we are doing. But we do our best to get the proper outcome. So even when we're doing service, we want to do our best. Like we may want to do a program and invite 10,000 people. We do everything in our power to get that result. But it may be that only 5 people come. We did something wrong. Right? So it may not work out. We can't be attached. Of course, we'll feel disappointed and disheartened, but we have to understand that everything's up to Krishna and we try and learn from those mistakes. So we have to act in that way. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Krishna.
It's also it applies to like situations where sometimes devotees are conflicted in relationships, when there's abuse and violence and all of those kinds of things. So perhaps you want to respond, how they ought to react within the framework of the 26 qualities. So,
yes.
Yeah.
You're talking about in any specific situation, like family abuse or?
Yeah,
spouse?
I mean, it's not that devotees are, free from these kinds of things. People come with their conditionings. We have to deal with these things. So
yes,
yeah. So
definitely. So yes, actually, what Smita Krishna Prabhu is raising is such an important thing, because many times people use this quality of being submissive, being humble, and submitting to various authorities, and then it so happens that because the person who you're submitting to is themselves conditioned, they exploit that position. They exploit the position, they take advantage of the person. And then sometimes it could be physical abuse, sexual abuse, emotional abuse. All those kinds of abuse can come out in those relationships. So it's very important to temper. Therefore, studying Srila Prabhupada's books is important. That's one. And having spiritual authorities you take guidance from, just to make sure that you're not placed in a situation where you're exploited. Because there is a tendency, especially in spiritual organizations, for predatory type persons to take advantage of that situation. Because in a spiritual organization, everyone is humble, everyone is submissive, and people are listening. So they sometimes they find a space in that organization, and they use that position to exploit others. So we have to be very, very careful and not let that set in. Therefore, it's good to have mentorship, have spiritual friends in Krishna consciousness who you can confide in, so that if you are exposed to those kinds of things, you can be protected. But at the same time, you don't want arrogance to set in, as Smita Krishna Prabhu mentioned, where nobody can ever tell us anything because we are not prepared to listen to anyone. Because this is a place for purification. Krishna consciousness is a purificatory process, and we come here to be purified. So when people tell us things that we believe we're right or we want to do, we have to try and, maybe we can't accept it originally because our egos are too big and we can't accept it, but we should at least take it in and try and reflect on it and take advice on it, so that we can improve with time, even if we can't improve immediately. I mean, I remember 20, 30 years ago, people would just listen to absolutely everything. Like a spiritual authority told you this, you would just do it. It was a different culture. Nowadays it's different. Society has changed, we have changed. Nobody is prepared to accept things like before.
The guru has to negotiate with the disciple.
Now the guru has to negotiate. Sometimes the disciple doesn't want to listen to the guru, he has to go to ISKCON Resolve and have a negotiation and a mediation with the guru. It's a unusual situation. But we have to protect, because we see the Vedic culture, everyone has to be pure, of course. The Vedic culture requires purity. So our spiritual authorities have to be pure. And we should be able to submit and train ourselves to submit properly. But with balance, with understanding Krishna conscious teaching, so that we are not exploited, of course. That's there. So that's why it's important we understand what Srila Prabhupada gave us. We understand the teachings well, so that we can protect ourselves in these situations. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Some announcements. Thank you.
Thank you, devotees and Ramvijay Prabhu. There are just a few announcements. His Grace Swarup Damodar Das has written a very detailed and nice letter, as you may have seen on our social media platforms, regarding our Janmashtami festival. Prabhu has encouraged feedback regarding ways in which we can improve the festival in the future, so please share your feedback directly with him or with any devotees from the festival committee. His Grace Madhava Das visits with a program planned 7th September, 8th September, and on the 10th of September. Further details are on our social media platforms. On Wednesday, the 11th of September, is Sri Radha Astami Festival. The program will be held at Sri Sri Radha Radhanath Temple. There are also plenty of opportunities for your personal service and involvement for Radha Astami. You can participate in the cake offering, sponsorship towards the Maha Abhishek, or make birthday cards for Srimati Radharani. Details of all of these are on our social media pages. The Bhaktivedanta College of Education and Culture is presenting a Kirtan seminar Saturday on the 14th of September. Our facilitators are Swarup Damodar Das and Smita Krishna Das. Registration is online. Bhadra Purnima is on the 18th of September. Take advantage of the opportunity of gifting or purchasing a set of Srimad Bhagavatam. For more information, contact the Sankirtan book office or the book table. 2025 calendars are now out. You may purchase your copy from the book table or Sankirtan Festival. Our Sunday Love Feast Prashadam has been prepared by the Prema Namahata. So we would like to thank Prema Alap Mataji and her team for today's Prashadam. We will now observe Aarti and Kirtan. Thank you for attending today's Sunday Love Feast program. Hare Krishna.
Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Prisharine Nirvisheshishinvari Paschatya Deshita. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Jaya Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Astatara Sata Shishimad Abhay Charana Ravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Astatara Sata Shishimad Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj Ki, Ananta Koti Vaishnavinda Ki, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki, Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Vedagadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakti Vrinda Ki, Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyamakun Radhakun Giri Govardhan Ki, Vrindavan Dham Ki, Mayapur Navadvip Dham Ki, Nilachal Jagannath Puri Dham Ki, Ganga Maya Jamana Maya Ki, Tulasi Devi Bhakti Devi Ki, the Lordships Shri Shri Radha Radhanath Ki, the Lordship Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani Ki, the Lordship Shri Shri Nitai Gaura Hari Ki, Harinam Sankirtan Ki, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada Ki, Samaveta Bhakti Vrinda Ki, Gaur Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories, all glories, all glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. Ugram Biram Mahavishnu Jwalantam Savatamaham Nishimam Vishnam Bhadram Nityam Namami Namaste Narasimhaya Praladhalabdai Hiranyakashipu Vakshaha Shilatrankanatalaye Ito Nishingha Parato Nishingha Yato Yato Yami Tato Nishingha Yato Yato Yami Tato Nishingha Bahi Nishingho Hridaye Nishingha Bahi Nishingho Hridaye Nishingha Bahi Nishingho Hridaye Nishingha Nashinghamade Sharanam Prapade Narashinghamade Sharanam Prapade Avakara Kamalavare Nakam Adbhuta Shinga Dolita Hiranyakashipu Kanuvringa Yesavadita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadish Hare Jai Jagadish Hare Jai Jagadish Hare Tavakara Jaya Nishringadev, 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 Jaya Nishringadev, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Bhakti Vigna Vinashan Shingadev Bhagavan ki Bhakta Shres Prahlad Maharaj ki Go Premanande